NFL draft.
My favorite.
Before, like a few months ago, if you would say like, hey, Mason Graham might follow the Niners, you'd be like, absolutely not. But if he did, no-brainer pick. Now it's looking like he could follow the Niners. Smaller than they listed him as. He's like 296, not 320. He's got short arms. He didn't test so great.
Yeah.
But his tape's immaculate.
Yeah.
So what do you think? If Mason Graham's there, is that the pick?
Dude, I think so. I think the only person I don't want us to draft is Shamar Stewart. Please God, don't draft a Shamar Stewart.
Why?
Because I think he's all draft type. He's all physicals. Okay. But I think it's so good that Abdul Carter has the stress reaction in his right foot, and then Mason Graham measured in and didn't have the best combine. I think that is so good for San Francisco because that means teams will hesitate. And that means I don't think Abdul Carter will fall to 11. If he did, wow. But I think it could push Mason Graham back. I think the Niners at 11 have such a perfect position for themselves.
Yeah.
Because you can go Will Campbell or Membu. I don't know how to pronounce his name. The dude from, I think it's Missouri. The offensive lineman. Yeah. He's incredible. Or Will Campbell. If they're not there, okay, cool. Mason Graham. If he's not there, you got Will Johnson, and if he's not there, you could trade BA and grab someone like McMillan because that would mean everyone's drafting defense. You also have Walter Nolan there, Jalen Walker there. Like, I feel like that's such a good pick for us, man. We have so many good options if they don't mess this up.
You know who Mason Graham reminds me of? And this, he may be before your time, but remember, yes. Yeah. He reminds me of Justin Smith. Super physical, kind of short arms, but it doesn't really matter.
Cowboy.
The thing about Justin Smith was like Justin Smith came into the league as a 4-3 D end, and then he transitioned to being like a 3-4 D end, and he would play D tackle in like the nickel defense. But again, if you put prime Justin Smith in the wide 9, I think he'd get exposed too. I don't think it would do him any favors because to me, if to be a D tackle in the wide 9, one thing you have to be good at, it's a non-negotiable, is anchoring against double teams. And I'm looking at Mason Graham's profile right now. Weaknesses, has trouble dropping a deep anchor against double teams. Now, to be fair, so do most D tackles. It's a hard thing to do when you have 650, 700 pounds pushing against you like that. But that's what's required in a wide 9. And I don't know if he's the right pick unless they want to have some different fronts this year, in which case, by all means.
You don't think that I have a feeling Saul is going to change things up a little bit. I feel like
it'd be great if they didn't use the same front all the freaking time. Like, it's not that great of a front. You can use it sometimes. It's great to me against outside zone teams because it sets the edge on both sides, and you have 3 off-ball linebackers who can flow and run to the ball. Yeah. But it's not great against inside zone teams because inside zone teams want to get double teams at the point of attack on defensive tackles, and you're like inviting them to do so.
Yeah. Now, I feel like Mason Graham is one of those no-brainers. Like, you would want to form the defense around his strengths because he's that good and because of his potential. I think you'd be doing a disservice forcing him into the wide 9 where he can't be his explosive self. And I think with Saleh, he would recognize that and be like, yeah, we're going to make sure. Because Saleh is really good at that. He did it with the Jets. He made Jermaine Johnson look like a superstar. He made a defensive line over there that wasn't fantastic look really good. And I think Saleh.
And their run defense gave up 4.1 yards per carry in 2023. It was a good run defense, and he did that with a wide 9 front, so he can do it.
I think, I like
he can do it.
I think Mason Graham's bad combine is so good for the Niners. I just think he's so good, man.
Also, I think another reason that the Niners run defense has been kind of whacked the last couple of years, or at least last year, I think linebackers have a lot to do with it. Losing Azeez Al-Shaair hurt, and then losing Greenlaw kind of killed him. I mean, in the wide 9 front, I think the defensive linemen are sort of supposed to like burst up field and create havoc, and the linebackers are supposed to make the plays. Yeah. And the Niners don't really have those playmakers at linebacker anymore. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Niners could even go Jihad Campbell in round 1.
Yeah. I think I like him. I also am really kind of hoping we can get Will Johnson. I love Will Johnson, man. I think he is so good. He is so good. He ran a 4.39 at 6'2", 200 pounds as a corner. Like,
Do
he is
you
so
care that he
good.
may have quit on his team last year?
No,
No.
his team
Okay.
sucked. I'd quit
Fair
on
enough.
him too.
Fair enough.
I
Fair
think
enough.
he's. I just think
I don't know
he's.
that every team would care. I don't know that every team would. I know Michigan cares, but that's sort of their problem.
Yeah, like I think he's so good when he's at his peak. He's so good.
Mhm.
Like, and I think with a defensive coach like Saleh, it's hard to quit with a coach with that much juice. And Diamador Lenore, like, bro, you're not gonna be able to quit with him on your defense.
Here's the thing about taking Will Johnson, why I like the idea. It's always great to take trench players, but if you have three great cornerbacks, then you can play, especially on like third downs, like passing downs, you can play man coverage.
Yep.
You can play single high instead of two high, and you can like bring an extra guy to rush. You can manufacture pressure. You could have a guy like as a robber in the middle field to take away the crossing routes. There's a lot of things. It makes it so hard to pass.
I think
That
we
being
have a
said,
really good
it does
one.
seem like the league is becoming more of a running league. And if you're not good in the
So weird.
trenches, all those corners aren't going to help you.
But here's my thing. I think just like a great off defensive line can make bad corners look good, I think amazing corners can make a bad defensive line look good. Because again, like you said, we have Renardo Green, press man corner. Diamador Lamore loves press man. And then Will Johnson loves press man. You have three press man corners that love to be in receivers' grills. That's going to buy you a lot of time on third down. It's going to help you commit more to the box. Why? Because Will
You don't need as
Johnson
much
runs a
safety help.
Will Johnson runs a 4.39, dude. Even if a receiver beats him, I mean, he's not going to
He
be
has
beat by
recovery
much.
speed.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
like
has recovery speed. Ronaldo Green has recovery speed, and Lenore is one of the better. I mean, so does he. That would be a
like
really good trio of corners. And like we've seen, if you have two really good corners, it's often not enough because if Ambry Thomas is on the field, then they're just gonna go, it's a green light, and they're just gonna
yeah.
go at him relentlessly. So
And,
yeah, I
and
mean,
that's
I'm
where
not
you
against
find
it.
and that's where, because again, I think we've covered this a bit. Like, I think the D tackle talent is really deep in this class. Like, a lot
Mhm.
of the good D tackles are going to get grabbed in the second, third round. And I think that's where you can load up on vets and good D tackles if you grab Will Johnson. Like, I don't
But
think it would
no,
be doomed.
if they draft Will Johnson, to me, that means that they've signed
Joey
Joey
Bosa.
Bosa.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
agree. I think
right.
if they sign Joey, that Will Johnson
But
hope is
that's
going to look
sort
a
of the
lot better.
reason to sign Joey or a defensive end. It's like you don't have to draft that player in round one because defensive ends are abundant. They're
Yeah.
available in the free agent market, they're available in the trade market, and there are good ones available. There's a
Yeah.
lot of good ones in the
And
world.
and that's my thing. At 11, I think the weakest position for us is end. Like, I think you could like if Mason Graham's not there, you don't really want to jump for any of the defensive tackles. You have like Walter Nolan, but I mean, you could just jump back in late in the first to get him. Um Jalen Walker, like, it would be a reach to grab him up there. Um Abdul Carter's probably going to be gone. So it's like kind of Will Johnson would most likely be your best pick there. Oh, and I can't forget Tyler Warren. Tyler Warren, if he's there, they'll probably heavily consider him too. But
If Robert Saleh makes the pick, I think he's going to take James Pierce Jr. or Will Johnson. He took Sauce Gardner high. He took Will McDonald the fourth high. I don't think Michael Williams is his style, even though he's good. I think he wants a guy with more speed. This is
yeah,
the all gas,
we
no
need
brakes guy.
speed. We
He's this
need
guy who wanted
speed.
D Ford. So I think he would take James Pierce Jr. with the 4.47. And the fact that he's just 245, like Will McDonald was like 239. He took him with the 15th pick. I don't think Saleh would be phased by that. So I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if James Pierce Jr. is the pick. Unless there's something about this. Someone mentioned something about his character and it was vague. So maybe the
Oh,
teams know something that I don't know. But beyond that, I think he's probably going to be the pick.
yeah. I mean, did they even have a formal interview with him? Because
Yes.
I know they had one with Will Johnson.
They did have a formal interview with
Okay.
him. I asked.
Okay. So yeah, I don't know, man. I personally am biased. I really like Will Johnson. I think Will Johnson should be the pick. But here's another thing, right? Is a lot of the Niners are like one of the favorites to land DJ Reed. So if they get DJ Reed Jr., the corner from the Jets, like then yeah, I guess you wouldn't draft Will Johnson. So I guess what you're saying, like we kind of got to watch. Like if they sign Joey, it seems like they're leaning towards Will Johnson. If they sign Reed, obviously they're going to be leaning towards the trenches. So
Do you think the 49ers will give out any 3 to 4 year deals this offseason other than potentially to Brock Purdy?
I think they could.
Do you think they will?
I don't know how much they're interested.
A Drew Dahlman, a DJ Reed. I don't see it, man. I think the Niners are going to sign a few guys to 1-2 year deals like they did last year with Malik Collins. I don't think they're going to make any big investments.
Here's my thing though, is they've been so different to the normal 49ers, which is why I want to say yes, because they've been so opposite of what we usually do. Usually we keep it in house, we sign our guys, and we, draft poorly, and then we move on with that. But I think this year I could see them signing a Drew Dahlman or a DJ Reed or, and I just don't know. Like they've been acting so strange, and it would make sense, but yeah, I don't know. It seems like they're in the real cost cutting mood,
yeah,
which makes me want to say no. But that also could mean they're trying to be able to sign someone like Dahlman or DJ Reed. So I don't know. I just don't know. They're Niners they're exciting this offseason, man. They could do a lot of things, or they could not do anything,
I just think the day, like this year, I don't think Kyle and John can go to Jed and Denise and say, hey, we really need a center.
Yeah,
really need a center. They're going to be like, cool, draft one.
But here's the thing. Can Saleh say, hey, I had this kid in the Jets. He's an amazing corner. We just lost Mooney. We need
draft another one. Draft another one.
Here's the thing is, in my opinion, he'd be like, we have to draft the line. We have to draft in the trenches. We can't waste the pick on Will Johnson.
We spent $334 million last year. Figure it out. These are the consequences. You wasted our money, and we're pissed.
But that's what I'm saying is they could.
We're so mad. We're pretending we care about soccer. Pretending.
That's what
no one likes soccer.
If Saul's like, I wasn't here. I need this.
The defensive coordinator? Maybe.
Yes. The one they just gave a ton of money to? Yeah.
That's true.
I'd be like, why'd you guys give me all this money then?
See, I think the reason that Joey Bosa is a possibility is that there's this fantasy that the Niners could get this asset for pennies on the dollar because of a family relationship.
Oh, I mean, I'm sure.
Other than that, I don't see. That's the one big name the Niners get this offseason, Joey Bosa, if he plays for free. Other than that,
dude, I mean, I'm sure I would, if I was a betting man, I'd bet on him coming to the Niners. I think his family wants it because one, I think it benefits him in a way because he could play here for 1 year and be like, playing next to Nick could increase your value, even if it's cheap. It could increase your value, like. And then, you
got to be careful with this locker room, man. It's becoming very one-sided in terms of like politics. You get rid of Debo and bring in Joey Bosa, like yikes, dude.
I know.
There needs to be like a kind of a balance in the locker room.
They're calling them what? The MAGA Bros? That's what they're calling them.
I saw someone say that if they sign Joey Bosa, they should just call the D-line the Republican National Convention.
Bro, we got the most conservative team in the NFL in Santa Clara.
Is that good? I think you want to balance.
Got the most conservative.
Meanwhile, the Eagles have the Eagles were like, we're not coming to the White House. Thanks. Goodbye. No.
Bro, the Niners would be jumping. They're actually, yes, you have to
sign The Niners Joey. Would have been dying to go to the White House.
You have to sign Joey because Nick and Joey are like, bro, we get to meet Trump. We get to be in there. You got George and Juice. They're going to bring Juice back too. And they're like, God. Let's go.
Yeah.
They're going to be, maybe it was a motivation thing. Joey's like, I can't meet Trump on the Chargers. But on the Niners, like, there's a chance.